Yeah, I thought it was a great weekend to cap off, a few good weeks of working with the team. Certainly to get a sweep on home ice is always, it always feels good. Highlighted some of our expectations in terms of being able to generate offense and showed us in some areas that we need to improve, in particular special teams, and not giving up what I would call some really good opportunities against. So feel really good about the group of players we have and starting to get used to each other. And early in the season, nobody has the privilege to work on everything, but I felt really good about our start.
Joel, obviously the number that jumps out is 12 goals scored for a program that struggled offensively last season. Just good did it feel to see that red line a little more often, and kind of how much promise does that provide you with?
Yeah, something we talked about at the beginning of the year is that's what we recruited for. And we tried to say, yeah, we need to generate more execution out of our opportunities and see it actually show up on the scoreboard. So there was a rewarding part that way. And really the most rewarding part for me was not just with the inclusion of our freshmen, but to see our team be able to generate stuff more in the second and third period. Both games were close early on. And, a year ago, one game was a win for us and one game was an overtime loss. And so now to see this team continue to provide, offensive pressure and then find a way to finish in the second, third period, both freshmen and returning players was, I think, a part of that excitement.
Some coaches will tell you they like to be on the road earlier in the season to bond as a team. Your schedule is what your schedule is, but you don't leave the state until Thanksgiving. Just are you making efforts to do kind of team bonding things, being that you're basically based here for first month and a half?
Yeah, it's a great point. And when we had to switch around our schedule late, it was one of my disappointing pieces is you do like a road trip in so many ways early. So yeah, we're trying to do some things with our team, on a home week that would maybe be a little bit more something we would do, whether it's an occasional meal or a team activity. And I think the players recognized it early. They did a good job kind of getting to know one another in early September and have bonded well. So I'm going to miss not going on the road, but it is what it is. And so we've got to take care of business and take advantage of the reasons that exist when you're at home, able to host. And so there are some positives in that way.
The women's college hockey world continues to grow. It's obviously not WCHA competition yet, but what do you learn from the likes of Franklin Pierce or now Lindenwood coming up, these non-conference schools that are kind of growing programs like yours is?
Yeah, I think it shows you the depth and the ability to play, a Division I college hockey. And so I think that the more growth we have at every level, I want the best teams in the Division I level to be the best they can be, but I also want the teams that are still up and coming, and we're one of those, to continue to grow and to continue to climb. And so there's great opportunity if you're, a young high school, hockey player to pursue some pretty unique opportunities and experiences at the Division I level. So hopefully every program continues to grow, continues to build, because there's more and more young girls playing hockey. And so that should lead to more exciting games for us and more parity and more depth across the country.
I'm one of the people who've written about this freshman class you've got on the ice. We watched Ella and Riley in the state tournament last year in the Selly League this summer, and seen some of the things they can do. Just as a coach standing behind the bench, what was it like to see them, with the game jersey on, the bright lights for the first time, just to see the results of all that recruiting come together?
It was exciting. Our whole staff, when we talk about, our program being built, that goes back to players who provided, the foundation for it. But this is just a part of the growth. And I told our group we should be better. Before the weekend last weekend, I said we should have higher expectations without any assumptions. And they kind of bought into that idea over the weekend. And there's reason for that. Part of it's because it's year 3, and we should be better in year 3 as a program than we were in year 2 and year 1 as we transition. But I think everybody recognizes this is a big group that we expected to have a high impact. And so, yeah, I don't know if rewarding is the right word, but excited and feeling like the efforts that our staff has put in, and it's been a lot, frankly, on Bethany and Marty and their influence on our program to get us to where we are now.
I just saw the box scores, but did we see that burst of speed that Ella's so known for? And how did she look kind of in her first college games?
I thought Ella played great. The score sheet showed, some points, but more important to me was she controlled the play in the defensive zone when she needed to, which is what we need a center to do. She's still learning how to, gap up and do some little things, some little pieces of the puzzle. But I think that more than her speed over the weekend, she controlled the play by making good decisions, setting up teammates when needed, and being unselfish, which she always is. But if you leave her open, she's dangerous, and she showed that. So she's an exciting player and makes other people better.
What do you know about Lindenwood? What do you expect from them? And being fully honest, how do you avoid a kind of a look ahead weekend knowing what's coming after that?
Yeah, I think that, Lindenwood had a tough series against the number one team in the country in Wisconsin. And so, I look at the first game, and we'll certainly see some of the video. I don't really hold anything out of the second game, which was really lopsided. And it's unfortunate when things like that happen. But, I think they'll be tough. They played us tough last year, and we were able to find some success. And so we're going to go back and look at their style of play and combine it from how they looked last year, and also kind of, how they're looking this year. But I expect a good game. I'm excited for the opportunity to look ahead. And that's the way I'm going to challenge our team. I'm going to say, instead of pretending like the next couple weekends don't exist, where we're playing top teams in the country and have an exciting game at the Excel Center, I say, let's take care of business on the front end so that, on Monday we can look forward to some exciting times, and just put that in its place for now and focus in on what's going to be a tough opponent and a growing program with a new coach, and get excited to play Lindenwood.
All right, Ryan, do you have any questions?
Joel, when I talked to you last year, you said your number one goal is that your team competes. Have you been happy with your compete level on your team the first 2 weeks of the year?
I think offensively we're playing really well, and we're competing, and we're almost desperate at times, but I don't see that matched in our defensive effort. And that's going to be something that we need to improve. And I mentioned that to our team because last year we were desperate and we competed defensively. And all of a sudden you add new players that aren't used to that level of play or used to that expectation, and they're going to need to learn that. And I told our team, if we're good enough to score goals, then we should be good enough to defend, because the same skills and hockey IQ that makes you effective as an offensive player can be applied in the defensive side of the puck. So I'd like to see a little improvement, but overall the compete level I thought was good. It just needs to be tweaked and learned upon.
You played Franklin Pierce so far, had some success last year, had some success this year. Now you got Lindenwood, same level of success. I mean, is it better to have an opening season where you're playing teams that you've had success in the past, or would you rather kind of have like a big challenge to start the year?
I think this season sets up great for us. That's because I just choose to believe that, with how difficult scheduling is and facilities and non-conference games, it's funny, we don't have as much control over the schedule as it appears sometimes. So this year we start off 5 straight series at home, 2 non-conference, and then against the number 1, 2, and 3 teams in the country. So we're excited just for the chance to play, and we'll take advantage of home ice when we can, and whatever opponents in front of us, we'll do our best.
Joel, on a different topic, I'm going to cover BC and Wisconsin this weekend. Katie King Crowley is going into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Obviously, not only based on what she's done in the past, but what she's still doing, running a very good BC program. Just what is your interaction with her, Ben, and having been involved in women's hockey for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Crowley's, an institution in the world of Division I women's hockey, and kind of came in that unique period where she won a gold medal as a player, and then was able to translate, her success as an athlete, dominating power forward, if you've ever looked back at the video, and then translated that into finding a career in coaching. And so, King and I consider her friend, and I'm so excited for her and the family. And what she's done at BC, they've had some great years, but I think the longevity that she's maintained, consistency and involvement, helping USA Hockey become better, obviously Boston College, and then just the growth of women's hockey, I think, is impressive. And so certainly nobody more deserving than Katie to be rewarded and recognized that way.
And then I've got a question. After the game one on Friday, you mentioned a couple of odd man rushes that Cal had to face. Your defense gave that up. Then you just mentioned talking about that compete level, rising the occasion defensively. Did you see some growth from that first game where they gave up those rushes to that second game where they didn't seem to be nearly as many?
Yeah, I did. I saw some growth, and then we had some different people in the lineup. So their application of that was different maybe than someone who would have come back in the lineup. So when we think about the chances in Friday versus Saturday, they were similar. I thought we were a little better playing the rush. But I thought Franklin Pierce was better in a lot of ways too in the second game. And so we still gave up a few too many chances, to my liking, but thankfully in game 2, Olivia King was there, getting her first start as a college student athlete and winning her first game is pretty special for her. And I thought she played great when we needed her to.